We've reviewed a lot of fat tire foldable e-bikes, but this foldable e-bike can do something that we've never seen in an e-bike before. And we're gonna share that with you in this video today. Andrew, what do we have in this box?
We have the Heybike Horizon. It's a 24 by 4 inch fat tire e-bike, full suspension fat tire e-bike, speeds up to 28 miles per hour, has a really cool paint job, and we're gonna see what it's all about.
So our first ever foldable, full suspension, fat tire e-bike. A lot of F's there.
All right, packaging is done pretty well. Front facing light with turn signals. Some pedals, which are metal, heavy duty. And it's a 54.6 volt 4 amp output charger. So pretty big. This is a 48 volt, 14.4 amp hour battery, so it should take you about 3.6 hours to charge from empty to full.
That this bike comes with such a big charger, that is pretty cool.
It'll get you riding a lot more, because some of these chargers that come with these bikes, they take forever, 7+ hours. 3.6 hours to charge from empty to full is pretty good. Pull this thing out. It's a little bit heavy. It's like 79 pounds, so pretty heavy for a foldable e-bike.
Okay, we got the Heybike Horizon all set up. This is a beast of a foldable e-bike. Let's do a walkthrough from top to bottom.
Starting out with the cockpit, you have a black and white display, RSX, hydraulic brake levers, a control module on the left side that controls the front lights, the turn signals, and also a horn. It looks pretty bright, but it looks pretty narrow. As you can see, the beam on my hand is very isolated, not a big widespread. Pedal assist adjustments on the left side. And the display itself, even though it's only black and white, it does have an app that you can connect to. The app is really neat because you can adjust the pedal assist levels, how much is outputted through every single level, and you can use the app to unlock the throttle to go past the class 3 specifications. So class 3 normally means that I can only throttle up to 20 miles per hour and I have to pedal assist at 28. With the app you can unlock it so you can use the throttle to go all the way up to 28 miles per hour plus. You have a Shimano 7-speed thumb shifter, another RSX hydraulic brake lever, and these faux leather grips. But it's got suspension where you can adjust the preload on the left and the lockout on the right. Plastic fender. You've got 24 by 4 inch Shaoyang hippo skin tires. It's 3 millimeters thick to prevent punctures, hence them being called hippo skin tires. It's 180 millimeter brake disc with RSX hydraulic brakes. Beautiful paint job where it starts as yellow, moves towards orange, and then gradients towards red at the end. 48 volt by 14.4 amp hour battery, so 692 watt hours. They call this a horse suspension, H-O-R-S-T. I've never heard of it before. It looks like a 4-point suspension, and this looks like it's actually a hydraulic suspension. I don't see any air chambers at all, so I'd assume that this rear suspension is hydraulic. Adjustable seat, foldable metal pedals, rear rack with a tail light that works with the brakes and also the turn signals, classic fender, 750 watt motor that peaks at 1200 watts and produces 80 Newton meters of torque, 180 millimeter brake disc with 2-piston RSX hydraulic brakes, Shimano tourney derailleur with the derailleur guard, and we've never experienced a full suspension foldable e-bike. So let's show you what it looks like folded. So it gets nice and compact, so pretty easy to fold, and great for storage or great if you're gonna be throwing it in the back of a car.
We're gonna plug this in, get it freshly charged, and go take it for a spin. All right, beautiful day. We've got the Heybike Horizon all set up. We've been riding it around. So far, so good. Let's pull over and let's talk about the things that we love about this bike. All right, Andrew, why don't you get us started? What do you love about this bike?
The number one thing is the paint job is stunning. It's got this gradient colorway, and it's also got sparkles in it. Hard to see on the camera, but the sparkles just make it shine.
Glitter and sparkles. You're speaking my language, Andrew. But I have to agree, beautiful paint job with the gradient from the yellow to the orange to the red.
The ride feel, because it's full suspension, is really nice because a lot of times these foldable e-bikes can be a little bit jarring because they don't have rear suspension. Some people add seat post suspension, but the fact that it actually has suspension in the rear helps out a ton.
The things that I really love about this bike is the fact that it's full suspension, it's fat tire, and it's foldable. The fact that you can fold this big bike into a smaller footprint and put it into the back of your SUV, put it into the back of your truck without having to worry about getting bike hitches and stands and carriers. This makes it easily transportable to where you want to adventure. And then on top of that, you've got the fat tires, which did great on the different types of conditions that we took this on. We took it on muddy trails, gravel trails, and it did great on ice. And obviously it did really well on the pavement.
The other thing I like about this is that I can unlock the throttle to go up to 28 miles per hour. So you have to get in the settings and connect it with the Bluetooth app. You can adjust it to go up to 28 miles per hour in the pedal assist, but also allow the throttle to get you up to 28 miles per hour, which a lot of bikes stop at 20 miles.
I do like that this comes with just about everything you're going to need to get started. It's got a horn, it's got a light, it has a nice rack on the back, and it has good fenders. And so out of the box, this has just about everything you're going to need. Out of the box, this guy is ready to roll.
The hydraulic brakes work well. They've offered great stopping power. They remind me of nut hydraulic brakes, but they're branded as RSX.
Cable management, it's actually pretty decent. I do like the wrap that they used up here. I like that it's easy access to get into the cables. In general, it's a fairly clean look.
Also have quick disconnects for easier maintenance. The tires, I do prefer Xiaoyang tires. So a lot of these fat tire e-bikes, they're actually using CST BFT tires, which to me is a really hard compound. Xiaoyang tires have a softer compound that offer better grip on smooth pavement. These are also the Hippo skin tires that have a 3mm thick skin on them, so it should prevent flats from like goat heads or any other objects on the road.
And then in terms of ride feel, how did it feel, Andrew, as you were riding this bike?
It feels like a natural bike. It's not the best geometry compared to like a traditional bike, but for a foldable e-bike, the geometry does well.
And the other thing that I like about this is it's a step-through bike, which makes it a lot easier to get on and off of this bike, especially if you're a little bit older and you're having some issues with your hips, with your knees. And when you have a rack in the back, swinging your leg over that rack, especially if you have gear back there, can be cumbersome, so it's nice that you have the step-through option.
I do like that these come with heavy-duty metal pedals. A lot of the bikes that we're seeing right now come with plastic pedals, or they're also lightweight metal. These are heavy-duty metal and they're foldable. Overall, the bike came in really good condition, so it's packaged well. I don't see any damage to the paint. I like that it comes with turn signals and a horn. Some of these bikes don't have anything on them. And then one thing that I do like is the seat. This seat is really soft, so this one has a lot of cushion, so it makes my butt happy. I mentioned about accessing the app earlier to unlock the top speed, but I do like that it comes with an app to track your rides and also adjust the settings on the bike.
We're gonna keep riding. At our next stop, we're gonna talk about the things that we don't like about this bike. All right, we're gonna do a quick brake test.
Brakes worked well. The tires, you know, on smooth pavement, because they're off-road tires, they don't have the best traction, so you do get a little bit of a slide out, but ultimately the brakes do work well.
Okay, let's talk about the things that we don't like about this Heybike Horizon.
For me, I prefer hydraulic suspension over coil suspension. Almost all the budget fat tire e-bikes come with coil suspension, but for me, being a heavier rider, you can bottom out a little bit easier and you're adjusting preload rather than adjusting dampening.
It should be noted that the newer e-bikes that are coming out this year by Heybike, they all come with hydraulic suspension, so we're looking forward to that, and just wish that they had put hydraulic suspension into this bike as well.
The front light is not very bright. It looks really cool. I do like the branding, but the light itself needs to be brighter for safe night riding.
The turn signals are really kind of wimpy on this. No one's going to be able to see that. It is so small, kind of dim, just not a practical turn signal for the front. And in the rear, it could always be bigger and brighter. Basically, you're not going to see it if you're not looking for it.
They have a Shimano turning derailleur, and it's the newest version of it, which they are better than the previous versions, but they are the cheapest derailleur that Shimano makes. So I would have liked for them to put an Acera or Altus derailleur on this bike. The other thing that I worry about this bike is the rear rack capacity. They mentioned that it has 120-pound capacity, which I feel like it's overstated. The reason being is other bikes have the rear rack built into the frame and their weight capacity is about 120, 150. So the fact that this is only connected by 4 bolts on here, I do worry that it's overstated. Heybike's customer service has been really great to me whenever I reach out to them. I have seen that people don't get replies for a couple days to as much as a week. The other thing that I would like as well is for them to introduce color displays. This is just a grayscale display. It's easy to read in direct sunlight. I can read it with polarized sunglasses on. I do wish that they would introduce some color because it's 2024.
I don't like the fact that when the bike is off, it says the words off. So the display actually is not off, and even though it's just using a little bit of power, it still is using power, and there's no need for the display to say off when clearly it is off. So we're going to keep riding, and while we ride, we're going to talk about whether or not you should get this bike. If you're looking for the fattest tire on a foldable full suspension e-bike, that comes in at $1,500. That's 4Fs. Fat tire, foldable, full suspension, $1,500. Check out the Horizon by Heybike. Thanks for watching, and when you guys ride, wear your safety gear.